Not. Okay. You are certainly a minority. If I emphasize things about marriage and not about singlehood, will you forgive me?
Yes.
Okay. Please, you will forgive me.
Only God can forgive.
That's what you learned.
No, I'm just.
Okay. Good. Our discussion is on marriage. I've written a book on marriage challenges, how to overcome marriage challenges. How many are you, by the way? How many missionaries do you have? No, not the hands, but the number. So I should have been talking to Dr.
27.
There are how many?
27.
There are
27.
27.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I should invest in you. Can you check whether in the car we can get 27 books on marriage? And it will be a free copy. Go check in the car. Those who don't get will forgive me. Okay. Go and get any book to make 27, but potentially married ones. Okay. Because I don't have all the time. I don't think you take the book. But let me start at that level. I've written a book on marriage challenges. How to overcome marriage challenges. The reason I wrote the book is because I think a lot of people are frustrated right in the honeymoon. Because you see, they call their girlfriend angel. They call their girlfriend angel. Then they believed it was an angel. Then in honeymoon, they discovered he's human. And what has happened to the angel? Now, so one of the most important topics to myself and to all of us is that by God creating male and female, He created people to disagree. So if you don't disagree, there's something wrong with your marriage.
Yes.
I'm not going to Because by the definition, men don't think like women. I've been married for 44 years. And up to now, my wife is asking, what's wrong with men? Why do you think like that? I said, nothing wrong. I should be asking the same question. Because we don't think the same, even after 44 years. So you have been married 23, stop looking forward to it. Stop looking forward to you not disagreeing. Are we together?
Yes.
It's a very important thing to understand. Because a lot of frustration that start right up at honeymoon is because you thought the girl was an angel, then she turned out to be human. You should have known theology better. The Bible says men are not allowed to marry angels. So don't you look at an angel. The day you proposed and she said yes, you should have known this is not an angel. Angels can never accept that proposal.
Yes.
So that's a very, very important thing to understand. That there is nothing wrong with your marriage if you disagree. There is something right with your marriage if you disagree. Let me give you 3 reasons. Number 1, people don't disagree if they think they risk losing a friend. People don't disagree if they really think they are likely to lose a friend. The reason, therefore, you have no disagreement may be because your wife does not believe you cannot run away. Not believe. So you say, what a wife now, hopeless wife. You need to understand that as she is refusing to tell you what her problem is, her problems are accumulating. When they burst, you just find the house packed with a vehicle outside waiting to go. Because she accumulated problems without telling you. That's a bad marriage. So the first reason why, if you have no disagreement, you need to be very suspicious, is because the likelihood is the person does not feel free. A friend of mine who is a pastor told me that for him, he doesn't counsel young people who have not disagreed yet. So one couple comes and he's asking them, have you ever disagreed? He said, Pastor, we are in love. How can we ever disagree? He said, turn to the girl. Is that true? Yeah, we are in love. Said, session over. I do not cancel people of your level. Said, what's wrong with us? You don't trust each other enough for you to disagree. You go, you are not ready for marriage. So, and he started putting his papers together. And he was at the door, they are still refusing in the office. Said, I told you the session is over. The boy said, Pastor, would you like me to tell you the truth? Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted the truth. We actually quarreled so seriously, we stopped at your door. Because this girl, we agreed where they didn't have a car. We agreed where to meet. She came 1 hour late. I was so annoyed. We quarreled until the door. The pastor said, oh, you are now ready. It's very important for people to understand that there is nothing wrong with quarreling, disagreeing. How you do it may be the problem. Disagreeing is okay
But some
normal.
some disagreement are even affecting our health and well-being.
Yeah, because the first thing is you are shocked. How can a woman disagree with me? I'm a man. Now, you went up with you are likely to get a shock and a heart attack, and it comes from your own theology. If only you had the right theology, you would know it's okay for your wife to disagree with you. So you don't get a heart attack. If she disagrees, you smile fast. Because you need what she was going to disagree. Number 2, why you should be very, very suspicious. The first one is, why is she my chief? Number 2, so that you understand this lack of disagreement, is that it will mean one brain has stopped working. God gave 2 brains to make this marriage. One of them has gone on leave. So in the end, there is no disagreement. In these 3, there is no disagreement, but it means the quality is a problem. There is something in management they call groupthink. Groupthink is a very, very important term in management. Groupthink is when people agree to that they are so cohesive, one of them stops thinking to allow the other one to think. It's groupthink. Jeff Kennedy in America was said to be one of those people. Because when you have a gifted leader, so gifted it intimidates you, all the advisors feel, what can you tell him? So in the end, one of the examples they give, the experts in groupthink give, is when they were trying to eliminate Castro in Cuba. But JF had his ideas. They can see they will not work, but surely, no. The president thinks he cannot. They tried, and they didn't manage. You need to understand, when you don't disagree, there is a great likelihood you are suffering from groupthink, where you are so cohesive that one brain doesn't work. The best example of groupthink is a family of a guy called Ananias and his wife, Sapphira. They were, when the husband, let's assume it's the husband, suggested they lie to the Holy Spirit, the wife said, why not? They will never discover, as if they were dealing with human beings. They forgot they are dealing with the Holy Spirit. So when the guy comes, Peter asks, did you sell for this? The guy says, yes. You cannot lie to the Holy Spirit. He dies. Later in the afternoon, the wife comes. This marriage is so cohesive. She can't say anything different from her husband. She also died. So you need to understand, when there is no disagreement in your family, you are likely to be suffering from groupthink. There is something in management they call synergy. Synergy is where, I think I'm stronger than you. Assume I can lift 20 kilos, but this guy doesn't look strong. You're going to lift 15. So the sum total, when you're given an exercise, the sum total will be 20 plus 15. How many which we have lifted? 20. Yeah. But if we agree how to work together, and we now work as a team, we do not do the sum total of 20. Did you say 35? We are actually going to do 40. When people work together, two brains fully engaged, disagreeing and agreeing, they find a way of being more productive. And that extra thing is called the product of synergy, working together. God created a marriage so the man could enjoy synergy. That means what the husband produces and what the husband produces, the sum total is not what the product will be. It will be more than the sum total. That's God's intention. But the many marriages are so cohesive, they suffer from groupthink. Therefore, they cannot get synergy. In fact, groupthink, what is the problem with groupthink is that because you are 10 of you, but only one brain is working. So you're wasting the time for the other 9, isn't it? They are not required. So it's when you have a cohesive marriage where people never disagree, there's a big likelihood one brain is useless. So you need to be suspicious when you have no disagreement in your marriage. Things are always seen the same way. In fact, you say, can we go to Garissa? Yeah, even me, I thought so. No. Is that so? Or is he trying to be good? It's possible. But if it's continuously, there are great chances that we are not going the right direction. And I think that thirdly, you're still asking the question, why? Because I know I'm shocking you by telling you there should be disagreements in marriage. Why is disagreement, lack of disagreement, a big problem? No, the second one was, the first one I told you is the likelihood that the person is just bothering up. The second one is, you are not really producing. The third one, when there is no disagreement, you don't enjoy life. You know, some widows were being asked, what do you miss about your husband? Several of them were shouted at the same time, the quarrels. Now, when they were married with the husband alive, they hated him. Now, they just do their own thing, nobody quarrels them. Nobody agrees with them. That's what they miss. Your life will be higher quality when you have somebody who can challenge you. And because they challenge you and you defend yourself, you have somebody to defend yourself to. Are we together? You end up feeling that you enjoy what you are really doing. Why do people have disagreement? I'll give you 4 reasons why people have disagreements. Number 1, because of gender differences. God created us to think differently. The way a man thinks is not the way a woman thinks. By creation. In other words, if there's somebody to answer our case, it's God himself, and he has no case to answer. He did it deliberately. The way we think, for example, let me give you an example. I come from Nyandarua. I go to Nyandarua. I come back to Nairobi. Rebecca asked, did your brother, his wife, get a child? I say, yes. Boy or a girl? I say, how was I to know? Was I supposed to uncover exactly how do you get to know? I was so excited about the new child in our home. I did not bother. Surely I will go buy and buy. But women here, tell me, if you went to the village, would you come back without knowing the gender? No. Men, am I right? Yeah. We are not born in the same home. So men say, I will not buy and buy. Women cannot come from there until they know what the gender of it. I'm going to give you an example. Women and men think different. Very, very different. So you need to understand, because of that gender difference, you disagree with your wife. Because he is looking at the same thing, but you are looking at it differently. And they are not lying, they are telling you the truth. But they are telling you something is black, and you can see it is white. Just because of gender difference. So, God wanted our life to be interesting. So he made us different. In Genesis chapter 5, he says, I made them male and female. So you need to understand that's why marriage must be between male and female. Because it makes life interesting. But, just that that's very different. there will be disagreements in your marriage. Or how can you think like that? Why thinking like that? You both think you are right. But you are right. So you must negotiate to agree a direction. Are we together?
Yes, yes.
So when you understand that difference, when your wife comes up with a strange idea, you don't feel she is disrespecting you. You know that she's a woman. And you have married her, a woman. You didn't marry a man. You married her, a woman. Of course, sometimes it's so frustrating. You think you convert your wife into a woman. So that you can think like man. But if you succeeded, there will be too many in your house. And it will not be interesting. So you can see clearly that gender differences will cause many, many problems in marriage. Men think of the future differently from women. In fact, most women, once you have a child, her attention is only on the baby. And it can get so serious, it could even break up the marriage. I'm assuming everybody is an adult here.
Yeah.
So I'm allowed to be clear.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, she has a child, she's excited about the baby, 1 month goes, 2 months go, a year is going, you touch her, says, can't you see I have a baby? Touch her again, can't you see I have a baby? Sure, what is the man supposed to do? You know, like non-Christians just start running around. Have you heard of those stories?
Yes.
Because the girl is totally taken by the baby, forgetting children are not part of your marriage. Hear me clearly. God did not decide children to be part of your marriage. They are visitors. They stay long. So you must understand that when a woman is not taken up by a child, she's not being wise. How can you be taken up by a child? The child will go. If you came to our house and you are not very old, you have to look at the pictures to know whether we ever had any children. Because there's none. When my wife wants to send someone to the kitchen, it's me sent. After many years of not being sent, she said, can you go to now? But now I've got the news to it. Because our children, for 20 years, they are children. Nobody sent me. I'm not communicating. So if you marry at the age of 25, and you die at the age of 85, how many years you have been married?
50.
Do the sum right. 25 and 85. How many years are you married? 60. Only 20 of those years will you have been with a child. For 40, before you, after the wedding, maybe a year or two, and after they have left, most of your life is without children. Some people say, oh, God never gave us any children. But whether He gave you children or not, by the time you are about 60, nobody will know whether you are dead. Both those who had and those who didn't. Says, at these days, children are not going there here. Your one child has gone to Australia, the other one has gone to America, the other one is in Switzerland, and you're just the two of you. Does that happen?
Yes.
So, this back to this woman. So tied up with a woman thing. They are tied up. Of course, they are the ones who gave birth. You are your assistant. But you so there is an attachment that women have with their child that they forget their husband. And initially the husband feels, maybe there's something I said wrong. Maybe there is something wrong with me. Maybe I'm no longer, I've added too much weight. Maybe there's nothing wrong with you. It's simply the presence of a child. You are excited because of having a son also. But the excitement does not reach the level to forget your wife. Am I right? Yes. Men, am I right?
Yes.
So you see that gender difference. Don't get offended by your wife. Find a way of accepting her viewpoint. And once in a while, bring her to a seminar like now this one. So that she can hear Nana telling her she's being a fool. Because this child will go, and the guy she neglected is the one she'll be left with. So you still must look after your child, but not at the expense of your friendship with your husband. Because you know they are going to leave you. Can you see gender difference?
Yes.
And I can go on, I don't know what the time. I want us to have discussion, so I'll try to cut short my I'll try to cut short my talk so we can have a discussion. So that's the first issue that causes us differences. The second one are called personality differences. Personality differences. The trouble is, opposites attract. Most likely, if your husband is talkative, you are not as talkative. Am I right? Can you imagine a talkative boy taking a girl for a date? He tries to talk, she talks. Tries again, she talks. He has no chance to say anything. Is she likely to ever take that girl for a date again? Never. So when you find a boy saying he had a wonderful date, and he's a talkative person, and he's saying wonderful date, it means the girl kept saying, the talkative guy feels he has had a wonderful, wonderful date. When a quiet, reserved guy is trying to date, and they go outside, and they find another girl also who can't talk, he is being forced to talk, which he doesn't enjoy doing. At the end of the day, what do you think about the date? He had a very bad, and that's the final date. You know, because somebody who's not talkative wants to date somebody who keeps talking, and he keeps saying yes. Oh, repeat that one. Now, so personality differences is what you enjoy. That's what brought you into marriage. But it's what will break up your marriage. The same thing that attracted you, that difference will bring a problem, because the time you take your wife to see your mother, you expect her to talk. Then your mother says, what are you? What is your name? Atieno. Where do you come from? Kokoko. And what do you do there? Cabbages. Now, by the time your mother is reaching a level to wonder, is my son marrying a fool? One answer. What do you think the boy is feeling? Embarrassed. Let down. When they leave there, he says, why do you embarrass me before my mother? Why? Why are you not talking? Surely, he said, that's not the way I talk. You went to my own mother, that's the way I talk. But you embarrass me, try to talk. You feel like converting her to start talking. Am I right? Mm-hmm. So the same thing that made you happy is the same thing that will be a problem. You are a preacher, like some of you are. So you want your wife to also start preaching. My friend, it can be an issue. I'm one of those people when I finished from 1973, I left Alliance 50 years ago. I got a chance to go for a conference in Kisumu, paid for by somebody called T.L. Osborne. T.L. Osborne is an American mission person, and he paid for every 2 students in every high school in Kenya to go to Kisumu for training on evangelism. So we were all there. You know, interesting there will be training in the morning, in the afternoon there will be miracles happening at Kisumu Sports Club. There was every day there was somebody who got healed. There was a miracle that happened. It was quite a mind-changing, transformative meeting. But somewhere along the way, his voice got out. And his wife took over. And I said, what a marriage. Could you just continue talking exactly like her husband and finish? I told God, could you give me a wife like that? By the grace of God, I got one. But if both of us are pretty talkative, it can be fireworks. So it's important to understand that opposite attract means trouble in your marriage. Because you want somebody to do something their personality does not make them able to do. And so you spend all your time trying to change your wife. If she becomes the way you want, there will be two people with the same personality, and you no longer enjoy each other. So you must learn that when your wife is operating from her personality, accept her the way she is. Are we together?
Yes.
So instead of getting to rise and rise, when you discover this one is her personality issue, that's the end of the discussion, the end of the trouble. Can you see how many troubles you'll be solved around in your marriage? When you discover this one is being caused by gender difference, he's just thinking like a man. He starts smiling. Doesn't annoy you, my sister, anymore. Because I married a man, so he's behaving like a man. So what do? I accept the man. So it doesn't, you don't cry about it. That's not even make you relax. Because you know you're speaking like a man. So those are two issues that will cause you problem. And when you understand them, they'll still annoy you, but will not cause a big problem in your marriage. Yes. The third one is called background difference. Background difference. Background difference refers to the fact where you are born, how you grew up, the values you got, the behavior and habits that you got. They're very different. You know what brings problems? Is are you married? When somebody assumes, you know, she has never had another man, it's her father and you. So she expects you to be replace her father. But unfortunately, you have never been with her father either. You have been with him 4 or 5 times, but you don't know him. So when you don't behave like your father, you are very annoyed. Why are you not being a man? Maybe I give a personal example, maybe just being vulnerable. God married to Rebecca. Her father was an Anglican priest. My father had died earlier. So I discovered after a few weeks, we are vegetarian. We are not, she is not coming with meat. So, but I thought maybe she would start trying to ensure we are well fed. Some people like vegetarian diet, isn't it? No meat. One day she actually decided to ask me, why did you come with meat? I said, but when you bought the meat, is there the picture is? Say, but I'm a woman. Was I supposed to buy meat? And we all laughed. I said, does meat have gender? Look, I didn't know. So she explained in her home, the mother never bought meat. Whenever they ate meat, it came with the father. So she assumed even this husband knows that. But unfortunately, I came with no meat. Because I did not understand how you can pass through, buy the milk, and you don't buy the meat unless you don't want the meat. Of course, we were fortunately because of talking. We are able to sort it out. We can say, meat has no gender. I can buy, you can buy, anybody can. But that difference is called background difference. And a lot of people you are fighting. If only you discuss how was your father behaving, you will discover what he is getting annoyed with you about. It's because you are not behaving like her father. And then for you as a man, you married your mother. Only to discover this girl is not behaving like your mother. It's so frustrating. What kind of a woman did I marry? When my father talked, she kept quiet. This one answers me. Because for you, you expected her to behave like your mother. You know? Your mother used to wake up very early. By the time your father shows up, breakfast is ready. Where she came from, her father is the one who used to prepare breakfast. So she's also staying in bed, hoping you'll bed. By the time you don't wake up, you better make some breakfast. But by the time you are coming, it's not ready. But you're not talking about it. You are just wondering, what's wrong with this man? Why does he never make breakfast? And I wonder, how come you don't wake up in time to make breakfast? Did I marry a lazy wife? And it all has to do with your background. Because you interpret life. They call it worldview. What's worldview? The glasses through which you interpret life. And your parents give you your worldview. By the age of 12, your worldview is full-fledged. From then onwards, everything is interpreted by what you got in the past 12 years. So if somebody in that 12 years made you think something is bad, it's bad. The best example I don't like giving for that was I used to work for a multinational oil company. And we are in Mombasa. And I'm giving my Muzungu friend, the consultant from London, we were both in Mombasa on duty. I want to make him happy. So I decided I would take him to Tamarind, which was then a boat where you would enter, when you're ordering the food, when you're on shore, go around the Indian Ocean, come back and finish. By the time you finish your food, you're back to base. So it was a very expensive meal. But I had not to be there before. To go and discover sodas, yes, I can tell. After that, it's seafoods. And the guy said, we don't order with everything. You come there and order. What does that mean? You come to a screen and you find the thieving, you find the snails, what do you call the thing with the many legs? Octopus, all of them moving. And you're supposed to point. You see, we were going to there, only to see them, I started slowing down. My visitor started going fast. He started saying, Nana, how can you be so kind? You brought me to seafoods. Oh, in London it's very expensive. Our parents hardly ever took us for seafoods. I'm very grateful. And me, I'm wondering, what else shall I eat? What's our problem? Our view is the difference. He thinks these things, the crabs eat to be wasted. How can you eat what eats you? It's not edible and snails surely. How can you eat snails? Him he is saying, what the delicacy, what the treat. And the difference is simply not color, but
worldview.
Worldview and background are related. So when you come to marriage, you have two different worldviews. And I told you worldview are the glass through which you see life. So if, for example, I wanted you to all look red, I wear red sunglasses, isn't it? Then all of you look, you are tired of that color, I wear a green one. Then you turn green. So your wife has one set of glasses, you have a different set. No wonder you see things in a different. Okay. So you need to be aware that a lot of those differences. Ask, just before we disagree, how was your mother doing it? Oh, my mother always made ugali before the vegetables. Oh, that's why I think I'm wrong. Both of them will go to the stomach. I'm not changing. Where it works, we always began with the opposite. So the quarrel is over. So it's very, very important to understand that if you don't take these things into consideration, your marriage will have a problem for nothing. So we have talked about how many differences. The first one, the second one, the third one. I can go on, but let me give you one last one. Destiny difference. Your vision of the future is different. Your definition of success is different. If the two are different, there will be a lot of differences in your marriage. For example, your wife pictures your children going to America. That's her vision. Your children are going to study in America. You see the boys studying in Kenya and never live in Kenya. In the choice of schools, you are quarreling. The quarrel is coming not from here, it's coming from the assumption of the future. Because he wants to take the child to a school like RBA. There's a school here called RBA. To prepare the son for America. But it's expensive. That's what we can do. Let's now be walking. Let's sell the car so that our child can go to RBA. Why, surely? To be sell our cars. But what you don't understand is her vision of the future for her children is she pictures herself taking a visa to visit her grandchildren. You are a Doko. And you are happy to be Doko. Yes. So can you see the difference is not being caused by background, not personality, but vision of the future. And that's why I tell people the biggest solution is you should develop an agreed family vision statement. Where you hear her side, she hears your side, then you come with a family vision statement. So that both of you are in agreement. What is vision? Vision is a noun. Vision is, by the time our marriage is over, what shall we have achieved in life? What does God want us to achieve in life? You need to write it down. By the age of 80, what will be our achievement? I used to say 80 without a problem, but now that I'm over 70, I'm trying to get it to 90. But let's still say till 80. You need to write a vision statement. I've written another book, a small book called Discovering Your Life Purpose. And you need to agree as a family. What's your life purpose? Why are you together? Why are you alive? Debate it. Of course, you hear from God. But your wife must understand until you can agree a congruent statement of life. Once you agreed, then you take children to the same similar schools, isn't it? Because you have a similar destiny. So there are a lot of issues that will come, and the problem, they are coming because of those problems. I've already talked for almost 40 minutes, and now that was the introduction. I have to find a way of trying to be brief. I seem to create the impression that there's going to be a lot of problems in marriage. So why marriage? Let me tell you, and I wasn't given that in my invitation. But I was good to tell people. Some people are single. It's good to tell them what's good about marriage. Okay? Number one, marriage gives you a companion for life who loves you unconditionally. Marriage gives you a companion for life who loves you unconditionally. You know, at work, people like you for the way you help them. In marriage, people like you for being you. And it's very, very important to understand that that kind of relationship is very difficult outside marriage. Marriage is the only relationship where you are in it for life until death do us apart. Because of that, you feel secure in the presence of your spouse because you know you have the same destiny. All other relationships, including of your parents, after all, one of the problems of parents is you die early. Is that likely? Yeah. So it's only your wife who is about your age who you are likely to think in terms of we're in this thing together. And remember, the reason for marriage, okay, children came later, but the original reason for marriage was companionship. It is not good for a man to be alone. That's where marriage came from. So, and that's what you need to understand. The biggest measure of success of marriage is companionship. If your wife is able to listen to your funny stories, if your wife is able to, if your wife can listen to your nonsense and keep saying, there, and yet you're speaking nonsense, nobody else can. That's what a companion is. You know when you hear friends, friends are people who accept your nonsense. Am I communicating?
Yes.
It's very, very important to understand that the reason for marriage, or what we call lonely, on Adam, was there was nobody. He was given all the animals. He named them one by one. But none of them was suitable as a companion. Until the woman came and said, wow! Bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. So you need to understand the measure of how good your marriage is the fact that your wife can give you her secrets. When she feels at work, she can't tell her workmate she has failed. Because after all, maybe her error has cost the company 20 million shillings. If you go mention it, you'll be fired. You need somebody who, if you are fired, you will suffer. So you cannot go telling people that you lost the money. Who do you share with? And it's in marriage, you are able to share all your failures with somebody who is not judgmental. Oh, sorry, darling. Sorry. Of course, some wives are not like that. She doesn't share. No wonder you're a fool. But then she's not being a godly woman. A godly woman will listen to you for you. Not for herself, but she wonders, how does my husband feel? So she listens like he's the husband. And if the husband would not like to be called a fool, she does not call him a fool. That's what you mean by companionship. And I want to tell you it's best in marriage. The other people can try, but they are temporary. Your wife is with you for life. Okay, not your life or her life. Depends on who goes on here. So, marriage has a lot of challenges, I agree with it. But it also delivers something you cannot get from elsewhere. And that's why you need to give each other time. If you really are a good marriage, you must have time when you don't discuss business. You simply meet. Very interesting how we copy foreigners on things that are not good. When I was at Alliance, because I was a Christian boy, and most of our teachers were white then, they always used to come for me to, John, can you do your homework in our house? Why? It's our data. These are young teachers. And they always let their babies in my care to go to Nairobi for their date. They had a date night. So you'd assume that we went through Alliance would copy them. We don't. We copy the wrong things. But that idea of a date night, when you meet simply to look at each other. You a date night, you don't sit parallel, you sit facing each other. And you just enjoy each other's face. You do not have a business to transact. You just enjoy each other. And you can hear stories about each other at least once a week. Okay, once a week, I compare you're looking at me. You can work once a week is too often. Okay, once a year. No, but once sometime. Are we together? When you meet for a date, are we together? Yes. I know the babies will cry. Leave them with your neighbor. Let them cry. They don't die. Don't carry the baby to the date. Am I going to get you? Yeah. Don't carry the baby, and you just have. And that needs to be regular. Because you see, marriage is a companionship, not a business. And you need to be able to share with each other. What I've discovered is, like now, the people I left Alliance with, we just bump into each other and say, wow, John, how have you been? After 5 minutes, you have nothing to say. Because is this guy married? What happened to him? You are very careful with each other, isn't it? Similarly, when you are not regularly talking with your wife, you will soon be strangers to each other. And you don't know what to share, what not to share, what is in practice. You need a regular system of meeting, not to discuss business, but to enjoy each other's company, discuss sweet nothings. So you did that before the wedding. Am I right? Why not now? Because a lot of people think about courtship before marriage. That's not as important as courtship in marriage. And I can tell you, after 44 years, I still have to think how to make Rebecca happy. You'd have assumed by now I've succeeded. I'm still working on it. Not very good. And that responsibility was given by God. You know, this thing is so serious that in the Bible, they say, even if war broke out, somebody on honeymoon would not be disturbed. It's in the Bible. Please go and check it out. They were supposed to be given how long honeymoon? 1 year. 1 whole year. No, if you go for a week, you think you have this honeymoon. Then they had a whole year. And even if war broke, they did not take them to war. Then the Bible actually says, why are they not going to go to war? And they can make their wives happy. Have you done that in the Bible?
Yes.
So it means, men, are you listening to me?
Yes.
Your biggest responsibility to make your wife happy.
Amen.
So it's important to understand that is like you have to go at this speed. I will not go very far. But I hope you start understanding. I've started by telling you what are challenges in marriage. I'm not telling you the benefits of marriage. and companionship is one of them. Number two, you are respected, and because that respect is communicated to you, you develop self-respect. A lot of people have a self-respect image. They have an image problem. All you need is to marry a woman who is attracted to you, who enjoys your company. Hi, you mean there's something good about me? You start gaining self-respect. Of course, if you marry a wrong one, the Bible says if you marry a wrong one, it's better to stay on the roof of a house than with a woman who does not respect you. I'm talking about a Christian woman. And the Christian women here are listening to me, isn't it? That you are supposed to make your husband's life so nice that he starts saying, "Hiya." Even if other people think I'm nothing, at least have somebody in the world who thinks I am something. I know the problem. Even the mother told him, "You're amount to nothing." His own mother. She said, "Well, my mother went to maternity for me and think I'm nothing. I must be nothing." Until you marry a wife who was not forced. She herself wanted you. Enjoys your company. And all of a sudden, self-respect, self-image starts improving. But I'm not just talking about men. The same thing with women. There are many women who, when you marry them, they were running away from their wives, from their homes. Because they could not feel at home in their own home. Now, if you come and make them feel at home, can you see how it will change? Their productivity will improve, their joy will improve, their health will improve, because they have married a man who now cares about them and sees them as important people. So I believe God, he says, the word of God says, He puts the lonely in families. Have you read that in the Bible? In other words, when you realize that you have no good self-image, He gave you a husband. He gave you a wife. It's the responsibility of the wife and the husband to ensure that your wife feels self-respect. So you must ask yourself this week, how many things have I said to my wife that make her know she's a great woman? Sometimes my wife is a lecturer, and these days they teach online. So, I'm in another room, but over here, when I come and say, "Hey, by the way, that must have been a very important point to your student." What? You mean you had it? Of course, that makes her happy. It's important for you to ensure God helping you. At least once a week, you have got something good about your house and tell them about it. And I know they did a lot of wrong things. That's not the subject now. We only talk about the good things that they actually did. That will build their self-image. And the responsibility to actually do that. So you need to ask yourself, do you discover people? A lot of us are like auditors. Are happy to look for wrong things. And of course, that's a bad auditor. A good auditor should be looking for good things also. But many men are auditors. They are looking for what is wrong. The food is brought to you, and the vegetables are okay, the meat is okay, but the ugali is like soil. Now, instead of concentrating on the things that are good, you just notice the ugali that is like soil. Why not you? Did you cook in your house? How come you can bring me ugali like this? Why don't you start by telling her, this meat, my mother would never make it to this standard. You are fantastic. And the vegetables, I don't know what you do to them. They taste special. I know the ugali can be improved, but I know you are trying. You work on the ugali. Everybody enjoys being complimented. Are we together? Yes. So you need to ask yourself, is that what you are doing? Or not? Okay? Your husband does not have enough money. So he doesn't buy you. The last time he bought your dress is 3 years ago. But there are many other good things he has done. Am I right? Yes. Talk about them. Don't make you feel like a useless man. And that will be some responsibility that you have. Number 3, marriage gives you a sense of security and confidence. Many things can surprise you. You can be at work and you drop dead. That's what happened to your uncle. But it's me who will even ask for me. Nobody cares about me. There's one person who will look for you. What is she called or he called? A spouse. And it gives you a sense of security to know somebody will care about you somewhere. Even if they don't care for you because you may have annoyed them, but maybe you die. That's what part of the problem with divorce. One of the books you are going to get is called. By the way, how many books did you get? They're about that. So everyone will get a book. One of the books I've written is about divorce. Now see what's wrong with divorce is people divorce are not divorceable. There's a story told about a girl who divorced a pilot. They didn't agree. Then, one day, after he had been telling you in the office, her marriage was terrible, I didn't care about my husband, I know he's a pilot, but he's still blah, blah, blah. Until it was announced on the radio that the airline had an air crash. And you will see everybody trying to ring, and she can't ring, the figure can't, it's the old days of the ring, you move like this. She can't say, what's the problem? I just heard that there's an air crash. I'm trying to find whether my former husband was, please ring for me. Now, I thought you told us he was useless. It tells you even after divorce for several years, her heart is still. Am I communicating? Yes. I keep telling people, marriage is like getting two pieces of paper and gluing them together. You know glue? Yes. If you want to separate them, it's not difficult, it's impossible. Because by the time you succeed in separating, some parts of this paper will be on this paper, and some parts of it will be, am I right? Yes. So divorce is just a joke. You end up, and if you get a new wife, all the things that were wrong with your first wife, you make sure they are not in the second one. But all the good things in the first wife are now found in the second one. Because you are not bothered about, you only think about. And then the wife gets very annoying. Because every time you say, you are not like my first wife. So your second marriage is in trouble. Because you go comparing it with the first wife. I'm saying all this in order to tell you that marriage is something beautiful and something good. But because it gives you security and self-confidence. Very, very important to have marriage. By the way, I'm retired. I was a manager with the sheriff. Everybody, people, especially about Christmas, they wanted to give me a gift. Oh, Mr. Then one day I retired. Not a single of them even rings me. You need to understand clearly. I'm now just left with my children and my wife. That's the security family gives you. That even after you're useless to everybody else, you are still useful to some people. Yes. Yes. You know, we are looking at why should one marry despite all these challenges. So that sense of security. But at the same time, as I talk to you, I'm saying, are you playing that role? Are you making your spouse to feel secure? Or does he think when he sees you at night, you will try to get a pen, he thinks you are carrying a knife? Because she suspects one of these days you want to kill her. So she sees that, hey, what is that? What are you carrying? I say, what are you frightened about? It's a pen. Oh, sorry, I thought it was a knife. So you need to understand that's a wrong. You cannot be a Christian and have a marriage where your spouse fears you are ready to kill them. You must give them continuous assessment that this marriage, I'm here for keeps. And there is nothing you can do to cause me to leave you. Absolutely nothing you can do. So don't even try. I will not leave you. Upende, usipende. That's how the way to create security for your spouse. Are we together? Yes. And you need to ask yourself, do you do that? Because I may be talking about a good marriage, but you are not one of them. A good marriage gives the spouse security and confidence that allows them to walk. So when they are walking in the office, they say, what about dress? Doesn't matter, my husband told me it was good. Yes. That's confidence. And you can imagine the productivity of that lady when she knows her husband likes her the way she is. That's a good marriage. You're talking about a good marriage. Because I have to keep reminding myself, not everybody here has a good marriage. Next, marriage is a source of motivation. You are motivated to be what you are made expect of you because of the encouragement and level and love that envelop you. Motivation. And of course, the motivations are many. You are working, like where I worked, they used to give us bonus if you met your targets. And I start thinking, if I get bonus this year, I'll take my wife to Seychelles. Can you imagine? Cheryl will think I'm working for them. No! I'm working. Sorry. So that I get a bonus to take my wife out. So you can see clearly, even motivation to do what you do is God given, but your wife could make it better. Are we together?
Yes.
So that way you feel appreciated, you feel like working harder, and I think that will be important. Next, you have a purpose in life as you learn to give and serve. The way you are serving out there, the practice is done at home. You serve the people at home, it gives you ability to serve others outside. You are fulfilled as you see those in your circle mature and become people of integrity and faith. If your children are growing and you see them going out, you sleep better. As you see your wife, you married her as a Form 4 dropout. Now she's the one teaching people. You say, wow, God used me to get this woman to where she is. Of course, that's an issue you have to ask. Because a lot of men in Africa will keep going for more and more education, and when they see a Form 4 dropout. After some time, your marriage is in trouble because speaking a language you cannot understand. No, one day God will ask you, I gave you a stewardship. I've written a book on stewardship. I gave you a stewardship responsibility. A wife is a stewardship responsibility. Because a wife does not belong to you, belongs to God, allocated to you to manage for God. So one day you'll be asked, your married this wife for 40 years. What difference has your being a husband made in her life? And if truly you have made a difference, and she appreciates it, your marriage will even be better. Are we together? And as you see your input in her result in a better woman, she may not tell you thank you, but you feel nice. So it's important to ask yourself, is that something you feel? Yeah. And with the sound of troubles, you have a secure, stable retreat called home. Your home is supposed to be a retreat center where all the fightings are out there, but you come home to a retreat. And I think that is important to deal with. It's about an hour since I started. So if I go on like that, we will not have questions. So I want to allow questions now.